Since the pen makers, Wordsworth and Black, kindly sent me a pen to try out, I thought I would try it on a Wordsworth poem. William Wordsworth was born April 7th, 1770. He died April 23rd, 1850. Wordsworth was born in the Lake District, northern England, the second of 5 children of a modestly prosperous estate manager. He lost his mother when he was 7 and his father when he was 13. The poem praises the beauty of many daffodils in the hillside as they dance in the sun. The theme of the poem is that beautiful memories of nature can cheer one in later times through the power of your imagination. The poem I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud uses daffodils as a symbol of happiness. The daffodils symbolize beauty and happiness. The poet is happy when he sees the daffodils, and then later, when he is alone, the mental image of the daffodils instantly elevates his mood. The cloud, the lonely cloud, is the poet himself. William Wordsworth was an English romantic poet who helped launch the Romantic Age in English literature. Although this poem is about the joy of the sight of beautiful daffodils, it starts with loneliness, wandering lonely, and then happening upon a beautiful sight. Later, when again he sinks into that same loneliness and despair, he remembers the sight of those beautiful daffodils, and it makes his heart feel joyous once more. Suddenly the clouds of loneliness are threatened by a host, an army of daffodil. The walk which inspired Wordsworth's poem, originally written around 1804, was not, in fact, solitary, but taken in the company of his beloved sister, Dorothy, who recorded it in her diary. Wordsworth's wife, Mary, is credited with contributing the line, "They flashed upon the inward eye," which is the gift of solitude. It was first published in Poems in 2 volumes in 1805 and revised in 1815, and shows a number of characteristically romantic traits, including strong natural imagery, the daffodils themselves, also references to the clouds and the stars and water, and the personification of nature, a sensitivity to the emotional state of the poet, and a pervasive sense of connection between the two. I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud was inspired by Dorothy's journal entry describing the walk near a lake in Grasmere in England. When we were in the woods beyond the park, we saw a few daffodils close to the waterside. We fancied that the lake had floated the seeds ashore, and that the little colony had so sprung up. But as we went along, there were more and yet more, and at last, under the boughs of the trees, we saw that there was a long belt of them along the shore, about a breadth of a country turnpike road. I never saw daffodils so beautiful. They grew among the mossy stones, about and about them. Some rested their heads upon these stones, as on a pillow, for weariness, and the rest tossed and reeled and danced, and seemed as if they verily laughed with the wind that blew upon them over the lake. They looked so gay, ever glancing, ever changing. This wind blew directly over the lake to them, there and here and there, a little knot and a few stragglers a few yards higher up, but they were so few as to not disturb the simplicity and unity and life of that one busy highway. We rested again and again. The bays were stormy, and we heard the waves at different distances in the middle of the water, like a sea. Dorothy Wordsworth, The Grasmere Journal, Thursday, 15th of April, 1802. William Wordsworth Daffodils. I wandered, lonely as a cloud that floats on high, o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils.